Howdy. Today we're talking about the Trinity changes. We got more details about them after the last dev stream in the workshop. We got all of the nitty gritty stuff that's going to be happening with her. I'm still working on what I think I want to do with her, but I'm sure I'll figure it out in due time. So we're going to talk about all the stuff happening to her and what that might mean for her and her builds. Now, first of all, her passive. She has a new passive. Trinity and any allies within affinity range will gain 50% of Trinity's max energy as health, 25% in the Conclave. We don't really care much about that part, but 50% of Trinity's max energy is health. That's pretty interesting. That means, like, let's say you built for a crazy high energy setup with like arcane battery and stuff. You have 1500 energy. That means your teammates are going to get 750 HP to their HP pool. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Not for like end game level cap stuff, but nobody really does that for the most part. Her first ability, Well of Life. Wait, back up. I'm hoping that they keep this is just adding to her current passive, because I do actually like the faster revive speed on Trinity. Honestly, I would rather have the faster revive speed than this. So I'm really hoping this is just on top of her revive speed. Her first ability, Well of Life. This one is getting a lot of changes. Can now be cast on 3 enemies total, whereas previously it could only be 1. If Trinity or allies die within the radius of the well, the death is negated and the well ends. So they die in the radius, and instead it just kills the Well of Life dude and keeps that player alive. The saved player experiences a 60-second cooldown before they can be saved by Well of Life again. 120 seconds for the Helmth version, because Well of Life is the Helmth version of the ability. This cooldown is indicated via an icon in their HUD. The saved player is fully healed and experiences a brief period of invulnerability. So this is just a mini version, I guess, of Phoenix Renewal, like on Oberon. Just helps keep your teammates alive. One instance of keeping yourself alive every 60 seconds. 60 seconds sounds like a long time, but that's actually pretty good. This is a very nice change to the ability. It makes it much stronger. Added sound effects and pop-up to indicate to player when they have been saved by the oil. That's nice, so they know that they have to wait on that cooldown. Can now be cast while moving. Huge. Increased radius from 15 to 20 meters, 33%, very nice. Increased duration from 12 to 20 seconds, also very, very nice. That's more than a 50% increase. What is that, like 65? No, 55, I don't know. I'm bad at math. Improved animation, so the enemy being lifted aligns better with Trinity's hand motions. Added a delay for recasting to avoid accidental dismissal. Very straightforward buffs outside of like the first one, just like, range, duration, keeps teammates alive. I like this a lot. The ability's not going to be total doo-doo water anymore. It's actually going to be pretty interesting. There are augments for every single one of her abilities, and this one I don't have them, so I have to go to images on Google. I don't have her augments, but the Pool of Life augment for her one. On death, marked enemies will drop 4 health orbs with a 100% chance of dropping an energy orb. I'm not really sure this is worth it, because you already have healing in your kit, and the health orbs could be nice if your teammates have equilibrium, but you also already have EV to give your teammates energy. So this is kind of a worthless augment in my opinion. Hang on a second. I got a hair in my mouth. Whoa, that's a big hair. Nasty. Hang on, we'll be right back. Okay, we're back. The pain of having long hair. Yeah, augment, totally worthless. Not going to change much after the buffs to Trinity. I would not run that. Moving on. Ability 2, Energy Vampire. Energy Vampire is no longer capped at 4 energy pulses. Pulses are now released at a set interval for the duration of the ability. This is interesting and nice because how it currently works is there will always be 4 energy pulses, whether the ability lasts 100 seconds or 1 second. And that means building high duration really sucks. You can negate this by just killing the enemy that has the energy vampire effect on them, and it pulses all the energy out immediately. But that's not always doable, though it's not exactly the biggest deal. It's still nice to run low duration if you're going with an EV build. The pulse interval, i.e. how often it emits it, the enemies, can no longer exceed 2.25 seconds, meaning positive duration is more viable for energy vampire usage. Increasing duration will also increase the number of energy pulses released by the enemies, since they are now emitted at set intervals. So you can just hit an enemy, leave them be, and they'll just keep pulsing over and over for lots of energy. We've added a pulse interval stat to the ability screen to help players build around this mechanic. Negative duration will still decrease the pulse interval and the ability duration, so traditional energy vampire builds should be largely unaffected by this change. In fact, at 13% duration, this ability still releases 4 rapid fire pulses that EV players know and love. Very nice, so it's not going to screw over the existing EV player builds. It's just going to give you more options build-wise for that kind of thing. Players can now recast this ability, causing the previous target to be released. That's nice. And it can now be cast while moving. Also very nice. Not a lot of changes. It's just kind of like quality of life for people that actually build high duration on their Trinity. Whereas right now, if you build high duration, you're completely screwing yourself with your EV ability. So I approve of this. The Vampire Leech augment has increased shield regen from 150% to 225%. And what that augment does is it converts overcapped energy into shields, which is really nice. Whereas here we go, excess energy replenishes shields by 150%. So that's pretty nice. It's just going to be a little more juicy. It's going to be really good for keeping your teammates alive as well as yourself for like shield gating purposes. And I guess that's mostly it. There's not really anything else to talk about the augment. Ability 3, this is the main one that I'm interested in because it's going to be the most changed. Trinity can now recast Link while it is active and can cast it while she is moving. The number of linked targets now scales with power strength. That's very nice. Increased duration from 12 to 17 seconds, very nice. And updated damage reduction to state that it's damage redirection instead, so you know you're passing on to your foes. This is very nice, especially because of the augments. Where is it? Abating Link reduces armor rating by 45% on enemies targeted by Link, and this should be affected by strength. So you build high strength. Let's say you build, for this you're going to need like 230% strength or something like that. Then the targets, which at base I think is 3, is then going to go up to like 6 or 7 targets. So then 7 enemies of the enemies close around you will always be fully armor stripped. Any enemy around you, as long as there's no more than 7, it's going to be fully armor stripped. That's pretty nice. I still think it might be worth building even higher strength. I guess if you go like a little over 300, you can get 10 targets. It would make for an interesting like melee build on Trinity, so that enemies within melee range are always pretty much fucked. Though if you group enemies, this is going to kind of screw you over because it's still only 3 at base. I do wish instead of 17 they made it 20-second duration, and they also made it so that the base amount of enemies Link can target to was 5 instead of 3. That would be very nice. But this is still a nice buff, and Link won't be total trash like it is right now, in my opinion. Ability 4, Blessing, increased the duration from 10 to 15 seconds, which that duration is the duration of the damage reduction you get from it. Damage resistance from Blessing now persists upon recast. This is because when you would cast Blessing again before the cast finished, after you cast it, if it was already active, you would lose that DR for just a second, and that could get you killed, which was a big issue. So that's going to be a very nice quality of life. And they also increased the duration from the augments buff from 12 seconds to 30 seconds, which is Champion's Blessing. What that does is you get primary and secondary crit chance for each percent you heal on allies up to 350%. This is very inconsistent. Even with the buffs to duration, that's nice, but the consistency still isn't there. After all the changes, Champion's Blessing is still going to be pretty much dog shit. Abating Link is going to have more value than it does now. I don't think it's going to be like crazy good or anything. Pool of Life is still going to be dog shit. Vampire Leech is going to still be just a little better though, but it's still going to be really good. Very nice changes overall, though I wouldn't say this changes her playstyle all that much. She's still very much support. You either build her as a support or you build her for the true damage you can do with Marked for Death and Energy Vampire. It doesn't really like unlock a new playstyle with her. Other than an effective abating Link. So I don't think there's a whole lot different to do with her, but I'm still curious to see what people will come up with and see if I can come up with anything interesting. I was gonna like try to show something in game with her, but I don't know. I don't really know what to do with her yet. I want to wait until I get all the stuff. We'll see. Right now I've got 2 shards on for strength. I'll probably go 2 duration, and then the last one's already casting speed. But that's gonna do it for all of the changes coming to Trinity. Very interesting. I'm sure Trinity mains are happy with all of that. Adios.